Just go.
Come on, dude.
Okay, buzz, ring. Those are the sounds you hear when a phone goes off. And usually when you hear a phone go off, your attention is pulled away from exactly what you were doing. Teachers across the nation are facing a growing issue of students paying more attention to their phones while in class than they are the teacher. This is causing some academics to slip away and teachers struggling overall to keep full classroom attention. So, should students be allowed to have their phones in school? The purpose of this speech is to shed some light on why students should not be allowed to have their phones in school. I've dealt with this issue personally within our school, and I've seen some positive effects of students not having their phones in school. You're most likely asking yourself, what's the purpose of, or what does this have to do with me? Well, many of you have students within school, and if they're over the age of 14, most likely have a phone. So, during this presentation, I will provide you with evidence and real-life experiences of students being allowed to have their phones and students that are not being allowed to have phones. Let's first take a deeper step into a problem on the phones within school. Problem step. Schools across the United States and the world are dealing with students constantly being on their phones, causing some students grade slips due to lack of focus. This came about an issue about 10 years ago when phones started to become somewhat common within the classroom. In an article, The Phone Use of the Senior High School Learners by Fernandez et al. In 2024, text provided information about overuses of phones. It claims teens experience eating disorders, anxiety, and sleep deprivation, and other conditions when being addicted to their phones. By Nathan and Zider in 2013, an article about California daytime sleepiness within students. It showed that students using their phone at night and temporal phone patterns were more likely to have sleepiness and sleep throughout the day. This is a major issue that could be affecting your child without you knowing it. Taking action on it could help change a society on how it functions as a whole inside and outside of the classroom. Now, knowing the background of this, let's look into a solution. A solution that has been slowly growing popular across the world has been banning phones within the classroom. One place where this has been huge is banning in China. Schools have gone to complete ban and others have not. A study by Li al. In 2023 about the usage of phones within different genders of students who do and do not have phones. The school in China, where 622 kids, is divided up equally between two schools, one that does have phones and one that does not, and then divided equally between genders. During the study, these students who had access to their phones were more likely to be caught texting and talking on their phones while in class, resulting in them missing out on the lesson. Those who did not have their phones were more likely to have higher grades on their homework and do better on tests, having overall better academic performance. One opposition you may have is, how do I keep in contact with my child during school? Many schools have school emails that kids have access to, and if it is super urgent, you can contact your student through the office at the high school. It's not gonna be the end of the world if you can't ask your student right off what they want for supper. Now knowing the solution, you can expect to view in the class. What can you expect in the classroom? If this is adopted in the school system and area, you can expect some more socialization throughout the classroom. Students are more likely to socialize because they are not addicted to technology and have less distractions in class. One thing that has been supported and one thing that has become very popular is the usage of yonder pouches within high schools. Yonder pouches have seen an 83% increase in classroom engagement, 74% increase in student behavior, and a 65% improvement in overall academic scores. Now that you know the effect of phones within the school system, let's take a look. What is an action you can do? The action you can do is approach your local school board about what their phone policies are. Some school boards have strict policies already. Some do not have very minimal policies as it is. One thing that they could adopt is the usage of yonder pouches, and this could help change the community worldwide. Sleep deprivation and lack of concentration, anxiety, and obesity have all been associated with this phone addiction and have been provided by Suji Mahadi in 2021. The banning of phones in the classroom can have various improvements from the article. Cell phones in American schools, a national survey by Aubringer and Coffey, 2007. Many schools have had a 50% return rate in principals replying back to that they already have a phone policy within place. After hearing this information, you can make your own decision on this matter. Students having their phones in schools is a major problem across the world and can be solved with your help. I provide information about how students have had their phones in class and have not had their phones in class, providing information about how their academics have improved and fallen depending on which way they were, and how their overall social engagement within the classroom has been. The teacher is talking, and there's no more sounds of cell phones. You can finally concentrate on your sole purpose of what you're supposed to do at school, learning.